are days away from the release of Paldean Fates, but what are the top 10 most expensive cards that are going to be released in this set? Now, shinies are fantastic, they're amazing, this set looks incredible, and the thing is, what are the most expensive cards? Is it going to be worth cracking those packs to pull some absolute bangers? Well, let's find out. Alright guys, so Paldean Fates is literally days away. I'm really looking forward to the set. I know a bunch of you guys are as well. And there's some big ones. Now, if you open up some shiny treasure that came out a few months ago, then you would have found out that there are some incredible cards that are coming across into Paldean Fates. And it's going to be absolutely bonkers. From big full art shiny Charizards to Mews to another Iono, this set is looking to be a home run. Now, 151 is so far the best Scarlet and Violet era set, with the Charizard being the most expensive card in the Scarlet and Violet era, sitting at $120. Now, a lot of these cards we will be looking at today, I would expect them to be dropping in value from their transition from Japanese to English, kind of like they do pretty much across the board. So let's jump in, starting off at number 10. Right, starting things off at number 10, we have the Full Art Shiny Charizard EX. This is just the normal Full Art Shiny, not the special illustration rare. This card currently is going for around about $18. Now, this is in Japanese, of course. I do expect this to drop. I would probably expect the majority of the Full Art Shinies to probably sit around $5 to $10, if I'm being honest. Now, baby Shinies from sets like Shining Fates, they can fetch anywhere between $2 to $3 per piece, which is actually pretty decent. Whereas, like, the Full Art Shinies, I mean, in Shining Fates, the Full Art Shinies don't do very well, but the Full Art Shinies in Hidden Fates have done incredibly well. Now, the thing is with this set is there are quite a few good baby shinies and full art shinies. So the fact is we have a Charizard coming in already. It's pretty decent. I do feel like this will hold somewhat good value. It's probably going to hold maybe around $10 or so, I would say. Not like crazy amounts. But kicking it off, anywhere between $10 to $18 for this Charizard. Next up, we have a full art trainer. We have Arven. Now, I will say this, I think a lot of these full art trainers will drop a lot in value. They always do when they come to English. I mean, as a rule, full art trainers do incredibly well in Japanese. But when they come over to English, they don't do necessarily well. Now, I know in English, in Paldean Evolved, have done well, mainly because it's just really tough to pull. So, Arven coming in at $25. I mean, Arven is, a playable card. It has, like, somewhat value in Scarlet and Violet already. I think it's in the base set. It's a special illustration rare, which isn't massively expensive, but it's got a bit of value, right? I do feel like this will probably sit anywhere around about $10, if I'm being honest. Maybe a little bit more. It all depends on how easy it is to pull some of these full art trainers, because obviously there's a lot of baby shinies and things like that. Now in Shining Fates, we've had stuff like the Skylar, which actually held good value for a period of time, so you never know. The Arven could hold somewhat of a good value in the future. Next up, we got the Nemona. Now, again, this could be a full art trainer, which I do feel like will hold actually somewhat of a value in English. $31 is sitting at the moment in Japanese. I do feel like it'll hold well. One, it's a very popular character, and two, I think it's going to be quite tough to pull, but we'll have to wait and see. It's going to be the same for all of them. Now, this is a special art rare, so it'll be a special illustration rare, so it's going to be in the same pool as all the other big heavy hits. That will keep its value. So I think it will drop anyway. Probably going to sit anywhere between $15 to $20, but we'll have to wait and see how well it does. I mean, look, we've got PSA 10 data already for this in Japanese at 150. So yeah, I think this card might actually hold, anywhere between, like I say, maybe 10, 15, 20 at the absolute push. I would probably say probably about 15. Then we have the Clive. Now, Clive is actually, a lot of people really like this card, and it is an impressive artwork. I must say, I do like everything that's going on in this picture, and this is holding somewhat of a good value. I mean, it's doing really well on a PSA 10, but $36. Again, we're talking about a special illustration rare. It depends. We don't know what the pull rates are. If the pull rates are going to be anything like 151, then a lot of these cards are going to hold value. Now, a lot of the special illustration from 51 have been sitting around about $40 for the longest time. So I feel like this may be a $20 to $25 card. Because people actually genuinely want to have this card, so that will help. Then we have the most expensive baby shiny in the set, which is Pikachu. I do think this will hold value. We saw in Shining Fates that we had the Suicune. The Suicune baby shiny held value for the longest time until Shining Fates until Shining Fates got put into oblivion, it held incredibly well. It sat around $20-$25 for the longest time. And because there's so many baby shinies, to get a specific one like this Pikachu is going to be super tough. And like I say, this is sitting at $57. I mean, the PSA 10 version has been doing pretty well. I do expect this to be cheaper, obviously. You know, we could be looking at another $20 baby shiny. We also have Charmander, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur in this set as well, along with the Pikachu. And they themselves hold good value. Hey, look, I think Pikachu baby shiny is going to do incredibly well. I mean, I'd be happy to pull that even at $20-$25. Might even be a little bit more, but I do feel like it will hold good value just because there's so many. And to pull it, I think will be quite tough. All right, we've got Penny coming up. Another special illustration rare, another full art shiny. Again, I don't think it will hold a huge amount of value compared to what it is right now. Now, this card has been dropping quite a bit from Shining Treasure. I mean, it was $150 and now it's $63, so it is dropping quite a bit. I mean, we could be looking at a $20 to $30 you know, illustration rare, special illustration rare coming in. Again, full art trainers don't tend to hold a huge amount of value. It all depends on the pull rates here. I mean, the graded price is doing pretty well, even though it has dropped. I mean, 236 for the graded, pretty decent. I mean, it was over 400. But yeah, I think we could be seeing, you know, this card doing pretty well. Maybe about 20, maybe 30 air push. Okay, then we have the Gardevoir. This is actually one of my favorite cards of the set. This will be one of my chase cards. This is a beautifully stunning card. Special illustration rare, you know, so again, we're looking at those tough pull rates to try and find this, and we're looking at $92 raw for the Japanese version. It did drop from 150, so it has been declining just because there's been so much Shining Treasure opened. I think this is going to be a tough card to pull. I think we could be seeing this sitting around 40, maybe 50. You know, we've seen some of these top end, you know, special illustration rares from other sets, even like Paradox Rift, sitting at that 40 price tag, 50 price tag, like the Iron Valiant and stuff. So I do feel like we could be seeing this sitting at about 40, 50. It may be a little bit more, which would be great. I do think this is a beautiful card. Definitely my chase card of the set. It just looks absolutely stunning. Coming into the top three, we have the Mew. Now, I actually think in English this will be higher than third. I think this will be the second most expensive card in the set. I think a lot more people will be interested in this in English than in Japanese. Beautiful card though. Really cool, unique artwork. $104 raw. Has dropped from 150 down to 100, so it has been falling a bit in Japanese, but I do still feel like it will do really well. And like I say, I think it'll be the second most expensive. Where will it sit though? I think maybe 60, maybe 50, $60 for this card. I think it might be maybe a little bit more, but I kind of feel like 50, 60 is a probably good guess, if I have to say. Now, don't forget, all of these cards might change, you know, when they go in English, of course, but they'll drop even more when the set gets open. But it depends on pull rates. We've seen it with 151. Where the cards actually stay pretty much the same or go up. But I do feel like this is going to be a big chase card. But yeah, maybe $50, $60 after release. But yeah, all depends on those pull rates. Okay, then we have the Iono. Now, this is the most expensive card in Japanese, but I'm going to put it second on this list because I do feel like it will probably potentially be second or third. It's between this and the Mew for that second spot. Now, it's $241. It is Japanese. Female trailers, we know, do very well. In English, they don't transfer over as much. This is a special illustration rare. I actually prefer this art to the original. I think they're both great, but I prefer this one. Now, I would say this will probably sit at around about $80. That's going to be my guess, but we'll have to wait and see. Might be a little bit more than the Mew. Like I said, be between the Mew and the Iono. It was 600 raw in Japanese, and then it has dropped down to 240, and the graded price went from 700 down to 400. Now, obviously, more of it's being opened, but I do feel like the pull rates obviously will decide. It's like a running theme, the pull rates. But I do feel like this probably will sit around about that 80, quite similar to the Paldean Evolved version. But if the pull rates are really tough, because it's also a specialty set, packs are naturally more expensive, it's going to be a lot harder to pull, then this might be bumped up a little bit and maybe take the second spot. But I don't feel like it will be the most expensive card. And then number one, we have the Charizard EX. Now, I do feel like this will be the most expensive card in English. Okay, that's going to be my guess. We had the full art shiny Charizard VMAX from Shining Fates. It did incredibly well when the set came out. But due to reprints, it did drop quite a bit in value. And it's sitting now around about $80 to $90. This Charizard, however, is it going to be as good as the Hidden Fates one? Probably not. I mean, the Hidden Fates one is $400, which is crazy. And it did take time to get there, but of course it is very difficult to pull. Now, to be fair, so is the Shining Face one. Is this gonna... It was $196, so it's basically $200. So it has dropped by about $100 since its release. That's actually not as bad as some of the other big drops we've seen. Where will it sit in English? I think it'll probably be anywhere between 100 plus, maybe 100 to 120. I do feel like this will be on that same level as 151. If this is going to be harder to pull, then we could be seeing this be the most expensive card in the Scarlet Violet era. But I do feel like $100 is a really good price point for this Charizard. We'll have to wait and see, of course. We saw the big Charizard from Obsidian Flame sit around $60, $55, $60, but again, that's a lot easier to pull. It's going to be a lot tougher. It's going to be really interesting to see where this sits. This is way better artwork, by the way, like way better. So yeah, this is going to be good. I think this is going to be the most expensive card, and it's a toss-up between the Mew and the Ono for the second spot. So there you have it, guys. Top 10 most expensive cards going into Paldean Fates. Now, I think this set's going to do absolutely well. I think the pull rates will make or break this set. If this is very similar to 151 pull rates, then we can see a lot of these cards hold very, very good value, which will then make this set more desirable. If it's going to be like Crown Zenith, where we were cracking, you know, gold cards left, right, and center, then I do feel like the values of these cards will drop quite a bit. I don't think it is going to be as easy as Crown Zenith. I think it's going to be very similar to 151 based on how Scarlet and Violet era has been. Scarlet and Violet era hasn't been the easiest to pull the top end cards. That's why things like the Iono's doing pretty well, Roar and Moon, and cards like that. And look, this is a specialty set, holiday set, which means packs are naturally going to be more expensive. The pool of hits is going to be huge, especially when it comes to the baby shinies and the full art shinies. It's going to be really interesting to see how things go moving forward. If you made this far to the video, guys, and you've enjoyed it, make sure to smash that like button. And make sure you subscribe for more Pokemon content. And let me know your thoughts down in the comments. What do you think will be the most expensive card in Paldean Fates? Do you think it's going to be the Ono, Mew, Charizard? Do you reckon Pikachu is going to be good? Do you reckon the money's going to be in the baby shinies? I think the baby shinies, you know, some of the chase ones are going to be quite desirable, especially because the pool is so large. It's bigger than Shining Fate, so it's going to be absolutely crazy. But if you want to know everything that's coming with Paldean Fates that is releasing this week, then make sure to click the video on screen right now. And if you want to watch more Pokemon content, guys, you know what to do. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Alright, guys, that's it from me in this video. As always, you guys are legends, and I'll see you in the next one.